friends to a podcast that's been described as
emotional
and
terrifying.
one guy even said it was
So awesome it will shock you to the core.
finally another podcast about
Godzilla!
and all his giant monster friends.
This could be the end of civilization.
Yeah, probably. So join your hosts, KES and Slick.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're listening to the podcast from Odo Island. Welcome to the podcast from Odo Island. Follow us on Twitter at Odo Island Pod. Take 2. I am KES. With me as always, you bitch. Like, how you doing?
You know, good, very good. Got me good.
I was watching an episode of 30 Rock, and Jenna said that to her drag queen boyfriend.
Ah,
But she said it, you bitch.
my wife went to a drag queen Christmas show last night. She said it was quite funny.
Yes.
It's cool.
Yeah, Jenna is so self-absorbed and such an egomaniac that she marries a female impersonator of herself.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
It's pretty great.
I
It's,
have,
it's Will Forte who plays the character, too.
I have never seen a full episode of 30 Rock.
You're missing out because it is the greatest thing in the world.
I've seen enough parts of 30 Rock to equal one episode,
Sure.
but not one full episode.
But anyway, this is not a 30 Rock episode. This is a Kaiju and Godzilla episode.
It's a comic book episode at that.
It is a comic book episode, so y'all made me read.
You got a little cultured for this one, yeah. But it had a lot of pictures, so it's okay.
That's the only way I got through it.
Yeah,
If
but
it was just words, no way.
I forgot this is not our first comic book episode. This is
Yeah.
our second
Yeah.
because we did Godzilla versus Barkley.
We did?
But I suspect this will be a little bit more popular. I thought that Godzilla versus. Now, granted, that was in the earlier days of the pod, but I was like, that's going to be a slam dunk episode for sure. Now, that's not what the rating showed.
Yeah.
However, these discussion topics, quite a fan with the fans.
Yeah.
So here we are. We're giving you what you want.
Yep. But before we get into the topic du jour, any news you want to lay on me?
I guess the Gorgo figure getting announced, that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
It's from Titanic Creations. They are a company that they have a bunch of their own original kaiju that they've I've not seen one in person, but it looks like they're kind of what their initial run was kind of like Bandai Movie Monster series quality figures. They look just like Bandai or Playmate style figures. And
Yeah.
I think they kind of have something coming out for one of their original creations that I think is in line with maybe something like an SH Monsterats in terms of articulation. But yeah, they just announced a very detailed Gorgo figure and continuing the Gorgo story with some comics.
Yeah.
Which I think we covered that in the Gorgo episode that there was a comic book run after the movie. So that looks pretty cool.
They did like my response saying that they need a baby Gorgo and a truck bed. And they also liked my response. Like, what else should we do? And I said, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Oh yeah, I saw that because they had pictures like Reptilicus and Yongari and the Giant Claw. And I think all not Yongari, but I wouldn't be surprised those others are public domain. And I think the Rhedosaurus though is still is not.
Yeah.
And
Makes sense then.
And X Plus I think has a strong hold on that license. So
Okay, yeah. Then
X Plus has some a really sweet Rhedosaurus figure that I would like to get someday, but it's $500. I might get the Defo Reel for $90.
that's the thing. I was never too big on those Defo-Real figures when I saw them, the pictures of them. But I saw the Ultima one that you have, and I'm like, these are actually really sweet.
Yeah, I think there's
And they're $100, so they're pretty affordable.
Yeah, I don't think I think the Ultima one was just really awesome.
Yeah,
I don't think they're a varying quality. I think when they hit, they really hit.
Okay.
There are some that are a little like the head is too oversized. You know, it's
Well,
like a
they
little
are-
too.
the
it's like-
heads are all too oversized for those figures.
no, I know, but it's like they go a little too overboard with that gimmick
Yeah.
a little bit. I thought the Ultimate one, like the oversized head, kind of fit the rest of the
That's
body.
what I mean. Like that one in particular is awesome.
Yeah, and
Like, I was looking at your figures over the weekend for the Survivor Series.
checking the old Mezco shelf.
Yeah, and that one really caught my eye as like something that like
Yeah.
I always kind of overlooked just because I thought it was kind of goofy looking to have a big head and a little body. But like in person, they're actually really awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess getting back to the Gorgo figure itself, like, you know, on the wrestling world side of the world that you and I are also avid collectors of, there's so many companies like making like independent toy lines and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
I wish we were getting more of that on the kaiju side. I hope this maybe opens the doors to more of that.
Maybe we should start our own figure company.
Start our own bendies.
Okay, maybe not bendies.
I mean, that's probably the most affordable. Just
Probably very affordable.
or maybe we could start some like mini figures or something.
Or maybe you could just get some more of that stuff and make.
Oh, we
figures
just
out
make
of
more.
it.
We just more make bootleg Trendmasters molds with the that like figurettes thing that came out in the '90s that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we could probably just do
All
that.
right. There we go. Cool. All hand painted.
Yeah, all hand painted. They're all gonna get start like tipped like Easter eggs in like a tie dye thing at some point. And we'll still call them hand painted.
Any other news though?
Oh, actually, on the Bandai Movie Monster, the Bandai Movie Monster series side, this just happened right before I left to come over here. Is that we're getting Gojibon figures of Agurus and Rodan. So that's like the puppet show that's like on YouTube.
I saw those.
Okay, so yeah, so I was like, I didn't buy any of the first wave, but I was like, I feel like I kind of gotta get the Agurus one though when that comes out.
Yeah, sure.
And I should watch more Gojibon. It's really weird.
Did you hear that it was confirmed that Millie Bobby Brown will not be in the next Monsterverse movie?
Oh yeah, I hope they kill her off screen. Just kidding. Yeah, I did hear that. I was kind of yeah, whatever.
I saw a video of the screening from one of the fests. I forget what it was, but like there were a lot of people like catcalling Millie Bobby Brown.
Oh, a G Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
She was
that's
pretty young in that movie.
Yeah, that's really weird.
It's
That's really
very
weird.
weird.
That's very
Don't do that.
That makes me even more not want to go to that convention.
We're possible.
That's not good. That's
No.
not good behavior. But I had seen people talking about that on Twitter, and
I haven't seen it at all. I just saw it today.
Oh yeah, like I had heard about that like when it happened, and then like I saw like some people kind of bringing that up. Yeah, really weird
Yeah,
shit.
it is
But
weird.
no, I mean, but her not being in it, I mean,
Needs to wait for Ford to return, just like I predicted.
yeah, I mean, you know, it's not saying that she's not going to be in forever unless they do kill her off screen. But yeah, I mean, you know, at some point, I mean, you need to kind of introduce some new character. I mean, I feel like we're in such a good new phase of the monster. I hate to say that, like I'm talking about like the MCU
We're in
or something.
phase 2.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I kind of cringed as soon as I said that, but I just kind of feel like, you know, it feels like we're now like in a different world with the Godzilla and Kong movies going forward. So, you know, it makes sense to me that like maybe you're trying some new characters.
Yeah.
I bet like Gia returns from GVK.
Okay.
Shouldn't say bet, but I mean that would, if someone returned, I feel like that would make the most sense. Oh, did they already confirm that like Bernie was returning?
Yeah, but and according to me, since I'm storyboarding everything coming back, like Tom Brady back to the Patriots, I've already predicted that Bernie will be killed off.
Yeah, I actually can't remember if I'm just thinking of your fanfic or if that's. I think.
If you don't know what we're talking about, last episode was us booking the new movie, so
yeah,
I killed off Bernie real quick.
yeah. Although I do think he was actually confirmed to be back.
Yeah.
And I think Gia is back.
Okay.
So I mean, that's fine. You know, like, yeah, give the reins to Gia for a little bit. I mean, she was a great character in GVK, so you know.
Any other news?
I don't think so.
Me neither.
Yeah.
So let's get to it.
Let's get reading.
Godzilla Half Century War is the topic for this episode.
Yes.
my first experience with it. I've heard you talk about it, but I've never looked into it. So this was like me going in completely dry, completely blank, no expectations.
Yeah.
I will reveal how I felt about it, but do you want to set some tables?
Sure do. I'll set that table.
All right.
Yeah, so very popular comic in the fandom, part of the IDW line. This came out in 2012. It was 5 issues long. It's a standalone series. It's not tied to any of the other IDW Godzilla lines that were out at the time. There was an ongoing one. A couple other lines that were out at the time. I did not really care. I have some issues from like the other lines. I did not really care for them too much. I thought they were fine, but just the not trying to be. I don't know, they just the writing just wasn't really clicking for me. But Godzilla has been in comics before. He's been in Dark Horse comics. He's been in Marvel comics, the very famous Marvel comics run that we should cover someday. But this was a standalone story written and illustrated by James Stocco. I hope I'm getting that name right. So kind of cool little story behind this is that Stocco wrote a short comic on his own for fun. It was like only about 4 panels long. I'll put it on our Twitter at some point. He wrote a comic called World War G, where Godzilla takes on a futuristic army, and it's like basically it's like he's attacked like this like modern city, and it's kind of from the view of this like tank commander, very similar to how this book starts. And actually, some of the panels are kind of similar, except they go from a futuristic setting to 1954. And the IDW editor Bobby Cornow, saw that comic, thought it was quite good, and when they were talking about doing the standalone, reached out to Stocco to see if he'd be interested in doing the art for it. And he asked if he could also do the writing, assuming that they would never accept. But they said, sure, you can do the writing. And he was kind of surprised. And I'll save my commentary there. But Stocco's
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly, that's right. His other credits, I think he was known at this time for a book called Orc Strain and Wanton Soup. I don't know. I'm not super up on the comics world. There's actually a few like Marvel comics like I still kind of read and keep up on, but when they get kind of like deeper than that, I don't. I feel like I should get back into it. He's really big into comics. For Marvel, he did some Secret Wars. He did some Moon Knight, the newer Secret Wars. He did Moon Knight, he did Edge of Venomverse, which I did actually read, and he did a Godzilla in Hell issue, which is another very good IDW book. And so my last little setting the table piece here, Dr. Devrich, who is the villain of the book, his name is a combination of Devlin and Emmerich. Dean Devlin, Roland Emmerich.
Gotcha.
So I love it that all like
don't you think
keep taking shots.
Don't you think this comes from a bad place, though?
No, because that movie came from a bad place, and I like that people take the shots back.
Yes. No, I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah.
That was just a little joke for the
listener. Way back to episode 1. Way back to episode 1 of this podcast. You picked on a movie critic who was dealing with serious health issues at the time for not liking your movies. Devlin and Emmerich were mean-spirited folks.
And that was their gimmick, too. They, like,
such bad boys. Such bad boys.
Ebert, he was the bad guy.
Yeah, he was the mayor. Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, he was the bad guy critic, and Gene Siskel was the good guy critic. Gene Siskel liked the movies, and would defend it, and then Roger Ebert would criticize them and say it's the worst movie I've ever seen.
I was always an Ebert guy growing up. I liked him.
But that was their gimmick. So, like, if they didn't like your movie, tough shit.
So I just love but I love though that Devrich is the villain's name.
Yeah.
So how should we break this down? Should we kind of break it into different categories like art, writing, story?
Yeah. Well, why don't we start with the story?
Sure.
So it obviously starts in 1954.
Yeah, and I'll just say the main character's name so we can keep it in our mind. So Oda Murakami is the main character.
Yeah.
This
I will refer to him as Oda.
Yes, there you go.
Nothing personal. So Oda is a tank commander defending Japan against Godzilla. soon after the initial attack, they develop this team to sort of like, all right, how do we kill Godzilla? So to make sure that like, this never happens again. So they follow the story pretty closely, but like Godzilla obviously comes back in the 60s, and it sort of just keeps on happening over and over again. So eventually, I'm long story short in this.
Yes.
Eventually, they sort of just give up on trying to kill Godzilla, and they're just like, all right, how do we mitigate the attacks? Like for like the least amount of damage possible. So they enroll this guy Deverick to make this device, but it does the exact opposite of what it's supposed to do, intentionally or not. So Deverick is pretty much causing.
Well, he goes
attacks.
rogue.
Yeah.
He creates an attraction.
That's what I was going to get at.
He goes rogue.
He creates this thing that attracts them instead of repels them, and then he quickly disappears, and he's selling it on the black market. So he's like a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
On this. So years go by, attacks happen sporadically here and there, different parts of the world. It's really cool how it happens, but eventually Deverick makes one that's so big it attracts aliens.
Yeah.
So first we get Space Godzilla, and then you get Gigan and King Ghidorah showing up after that. So, like, long story short, they basically try to end Godzilla, Kiryu, and Ghidorah and Gigan all together, and don't.
By shooting the Dimension Tide at
Yeah.
them. Yeah, so it goes from Tokyo to Vietnam to
India.
during the Vietnam War.
Yep.
To Ghana, India. I got those out of order.
No, I think you got it right. I think I had it backwards.
Am I missing one? And then it ends in Antarctica.
Yeah.
There's like one point where like Deverick is like clearly like it's not outwardly stated, but clearly like he's selling it to like the X-Agent, like the Zillion aliens.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like a nice little touch. But yeah, like when the big one goes off and it attracts Space Godzilla, I was like, that is kind of funny because this is so out of nowhere.
It like it's only 5 comics long too, so it's a short story, but they pack so much punch.
Yeah.
Like each book is like, probably no more than like 10-20 pages.
Yeah.
But like inside of those is just so much story for each episode that it really like it takes you on like this huge epic journey that if they made it into a movie would probably be like 30 minutes.
Yeah. And I really like how it's like through the lens of this guy, Ota, and it's like him kind of starts off as like the young, hot-blooded, wants to fight the good fight, and he's just kind of getting worn down and worn down.
Yeah.
And it's
Until
just like
eventually at the end he's just kind of like, I want to pilot Kiryu so bad.
Yeah, and it's like there's like I think it's like during the part where it's like it's like taken like the Vietnam. I thought the Vietnam chapter was pretty interesting because now he's like this mature leader or leader like figure in this,
and he's come to grips with reality.
Yeah, and it's like and he's going up against like the brash like American general who's like we're gonna bomb the shit out of Godzilla.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of throws their
And he's like,
plan
are
away.
you? Yeah, sure.
And it's like and then it's like as time goes on it's like it's like when they're in I remember it's when they were in India or when they're in South Africa, but it's like when like the attack is going on, he just like goes outside to like smoke a butt, and he's just like whatever. He's like I'm just gonna watch it's when they first deployed the original Mechagodzilla or the 90s style Mechagodzilla, and he's just like whatever, I'll just observe from like 2 miles away because that's all we do now is like and he's just like smoking a cigarette, doesn't have like the fight in him anymore, and just like and then towards the end he's like okay, like they established pretty well that Ghidorah and Gigan have essentially like decimated the world, and he's just like this is it, and I'm gonna gets a little bit of spark back at him, and he's like looking at Kiryu. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, he's just like, at first he sees Kiryu and he's like kind of jealous. He's like, I wish I could pilot that. And then towards the end, he like finds a way to pilot it. And it's just like, yes. It's such like a rewarding story to read through.
Yeah. I feel like, if this was a movie or a TV show or something, I feel like I think this is like the perfect way to tell a Godzilla story from a human point of view like this. Like I don't think you could do a million stories like this, but like I thought this one really hits it. There's not a lot of Godzilla stories that are from this point of view. Like there's a few Dark Horse comics that kind of take a similar type view, but like not to this degree. And like I feel like the writing And the dialogue was like, it wasn't like comic book corny or anything like
No.
that. Like, it was really well done. People were talking kind of like how they would talk for the most part, you know, and it's like,
So like that's I don't know if we spoke about this or not before the podcast a few days ago, but that's one of the things that caught
because
me
we were
about this.
drunk.
Yeah. But
Because
one
we
of-
were really drunk watching Survivor Series.
yeah, well that too, but like the dialogue, it wasn't like overly what's the word I'm looking for?
Like exposition. Wasn't exposition heavy.
That's
yeah.
exactly it, yeah.
Yeah.
It was more or less like people interacting with each other, and they weren't being like, "Oh, my brother." Like they weren't like the dialogue wasn't like my brother Thing, who is, or my brother Cliff, who is a mailman. You know?
Yeah, right.
It was how people actually talk in real life. So I really appreciated that, because too often do I like see a show or movie or read something where people just do not behave the way a normal person would behave.
Yeah. It's like, I always kind of go back to like, I think Kong Skull Island is like an extremely, extremely good movie. And I thought the dialogue of that movie was great. Then you get that one random scene where, what's his face, Loki and Brie Larson are like talking and just randomly like, is it Hiddleston? Is that his last name?
Tom Hiddleston.
Thank you. And like he starts going off about this like lighter that like whatever passed through his family and like the story about this lighter. And I was like, all right, just setting up Chekhov's lighter, like, but it doesn't need this story. It's just like an unnatural thing. And then
he just threw it away.
Yeah. And then sometimes like, you know, people or a critique that I sometimes would see of Shin Godzilla was just like, well, like, you know, we didn't get enough backstory about these characters. And like, well, these characters are dealing with like a crisis that's unfolding. They're not going to sit there and just like talk about like, you know, like the day their dog died or something like that. That doesn't make sense. It makes more sense that like they're all business, they're working. And that's kind of like what this story was kind of like. It was like people are saying what should be said in the moment because that's what you would do in that moment.
Yeah. So I'm totally in agreement with you there. The dialogue was really good. Nothing overly exposition-y, but you got enough to understand how the story was going. Like there was still stuff, but like when they did do exposition, it flowed naturally in the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, who's Deverick? Oh, he's this guy who is doing this.
Right.
Like,
right.
It wasn't just like Deverick, the guy who is doing this, is the person we are chasing.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like someone was standing in front of a room full of people and explaining the situation.
Yeah.
It was two people interacting. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate that the main character too, or the main characters, like are removed. Like at the end of the first issue, when it's like they, you know, hit Godzilla with the oxygen destroyer. Like they're so removed from it, like they don't actually know if it killed Godzilla or not.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't like really know the whole story about like, you know, Serizawa presumably using it in this universe, and like they just kind of hear like, yeah, you know, the guy made it, he died with it. We heard he like burned his plan, so we got to think. So you know, we got to do something different. And like, oh, there's another Godzilla. Well, we don't know if it's the same Godzilla or a different Godzilla. It doesn't really matter. Like, and that's true. They're so far removed from it that it's like, why would they have insight to that or have like, an opinion on that? You know, it was good, good creative restraint.
So, with that said, what do you think of the art?
Overall, I love the art. I sometimes Godzilla's a little cross-eyed.
No, but that's how you know it's hand drawn. It's
yes,
computer created thing.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because but overall, like, I love the art. I love that it's like kind of like a Kiryu style Godzilla design.
Yep.
I guess this would count under the art too. I love that he doesn't write out Skryonk. He does like a sound wave for Godzilla's roar. I thought that was like a really clever take. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the art.
Some of the panels that stuck out to me that were like really awesome, where I posted the one that I thought was like incredible, was Godzilla in the foreground and then Ghidorah just massive behind him. I was like, oh, that's a great one. But like anytime there was like a silhouette of Gigan or Ghidorah, I was just like, yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
All the kaiju look great. He didn't do the coloring, a different person did the coloring. But I fucking loved that the coloring was kind of more like old school comic style.
Yeah.
And like, again, I'm not a big comic reader, so I'm going to kind of like not use the right terms or whatever, but like how modern comics, like they have such this like flat, in my opinion, this kind of like flat, lifeless, like digital coloring process.
Yeah, it's like very oversaturated.
Yeah, and this looked, I mean, I'm sure this was done digitally, but it looked more like old traditional style. It didn't feel digital. It felt like it was also like hand done.
Like,
even though it probably wasn't.
One of the things I liked was like the destructed cityscapes were like these really nice combinations of like orange, gray, brown. Like it didn't look like an area full of life. It looked like an area full of death. And so I appreciated the art style and like the cityscapes, particularly for this. Like when they're in Antarctica, obviously it's going to be a lot of white and like Arctic blue and things like that. But like in the cityscapes in particular, in like Ghana and India, that's when I noticed like a lot of effort being put into the foreign backgrounds, and I thought that was really great.
Yeah. I also liked that because Godzilla kind of has this Kiryu style look. Space Godzilla, when he appears, also kind of has the Kiryu style look going on. I was like, that's good. That's good.
I thought nothing looked bad in this, in my opinion. The art was just top notch the whole way through.
Yeah, agreed 100%. This is the one Godzilla in Hell episode issue that he did. Like, also looks fantastic. All the art in Godzilla in Hell looks good, but they had a different artist do each issue, and they all chose like a different Godzilla suit to use. Like, there's no narrative point to Godzilla's suit changing.
Cool.
But he kind of stuck to this.
It's almost like when they recast an actor to play the same role.
Yeah, well, it's like one issue ends where it's like you kind of got the Millennium style Godzilla. The next issue opens is the GMK Godzilla for like no narrative reason other than death. That's just what the artist chose. But for that comic, that works really well.
Yeah,
we'll have to do that next time we do a comic issue.
Okay.
There's also no dialogue in that whole series for the most part. So.
I have no problem reading comics for this show. So you know.
Well, I would really like to do a deep dive into the Marvel Comics run.
Okay.
And that's a whopping 24 issues.
I could do that, no problem.
Takes a lot of weird twists and turns if you're not too familiar with it.
I'm not familiar with it at all. I have no familiarity with Godzilla comics.
I'll just say it starts off just, I don't know, kind of typical like Godzilla in the 70s Marvel stuff. Then there's one story arc where Godzilla gets shrunken down to the size of a sewer rat. And, he's actually fighting like, sewer rats and shit like that. And then he starts to grow a little bit. He gets about human size. And like one of the human characters is like, all right, I'm going to disguise you like Raphael and like the Ninja Turtles. And then like he ends up in a museum and he's
Damn!
Like, he fights
lost a side.
He fights the Fantastic Four in a dinosaur museum. And then it ultimately ends with him having a 2-issue standoff with like the Avengers and the Fantastic Four. And it's good. It's 70s Marvel comics.
Were the Avengers not the G-Vengers?
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I'm a real jerk for that.
I'm pretty sure there's some Hostess Cupcakes ads throughout the comic book, so
okay.
I always enjoyed those. So it's interesting.
Sort of like how in what's that zombie movie where Woody Harrelson's looking for a Twinkie?
Zombieland,
thank you,
yeah. And
they find a big Hostess truck's tipped over and he pulls it back and it's all snowballs. I hate snowballs.
I like snowballs.
I'm not a coconut guy.
I am, and I realized I'm very alone on that island. But anyway, Half Century War.
So yeah, the art's great. The dialogue's really good. The story is really fun. Breakneck speed, in my opinion. So, especially the fact that you're covering literally a half century of like this person's entire life, basically. Their whole adult life is them in their interactions with Godzilla.
You know what this would work really well as? An anime adaptation. It'd be fantastic.
Or a video game.
Or both. Or both.
You're just doing different levels during this. You're this guy and each level is like a different Godzilla attack.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would work in any of those mediums. I think this is how you, again, I'll just reiterate, this is how you tell like a strong human-centric Godzilla story. It benefits too from having a lot of like the thought bubbles where he's like writing in his journal.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I got no wife, got no family, I got no friends outside of this group that I'm in. It's like, I was like, sometimes I wonder, did I throw my life away, chasing Godzilla for, almost half a century?
But like, that's just introspection. That's not like, dialogue.
But it's like, but I love it. But like, this is the benefit of like comics. You get that.
Yeah.
You can have those like those like inner thoughts, and Also, it's not a half century; it's 48 years. The story.
We're rounding up.
I know. I was like, you couldn't just make it 2004. But,
Why didn't they?
yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. But whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? Soundtrack sucks though.
Well, there you go. Gets a zero. Gets a zero for soundtrack.
What else? Do you have everything else to discuss about this?
If like how like Godzilla's roar is actually, if it was an actual true sound wave that you could scan and have it play a roar, would you then say that the soundtrack still sucked?
Like, yeah, why not?
All right, good. We wrapped up that joke. I don't know if I have anything else to say. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever really get to the other IDW books outside of Godzilla in Hell, but I feel like, this, I was very turned off by the IDW comics. Like, but when, I didn't read this when it first came out. I read it like after the fact, and I had to say, like, I was always happy I went back to find this one.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh my God, I was like, this is just like head and shoulders above. Like, I mean, it's probably the best Godzilla comic I think that there is. I actually can't. Yeah, no, I feel like I can confidently say this is the best Godzilla comic there is. I don't.
Okay.
And because I've read them all for the most part.
I've read them all.
I read 1,000 of them. So it's just, and I would go on to say that like this is just a fantastic Godzilla story that transcends the comic medium.
Yeah. So it's long story short, it's another one of those things where you kind of get like the first Godzilla included into it, but then after that, it sort of like goes off on its own and tells its own story, but it still includes a lot of like the Godzilla elements from Heisei and Showa, and even Millennium too. You got like Kiryu, and the Godzilla design is like the Millennium design.
Yep.
So overall, it's a pretty good hodgepodge of like the entirety of the Godzilla lore up to that point.
Sure. Yeah.
Just condensed down into a 5 book comic, and it works.
Yeah.
It works great.
Yeah. You kind of get almost a Final Wars style Anguirus design, kind of somewhere in the middle of his Showa design. Gigan's, I like that Gigan is the Showa one.
Yeah,
because I like that it's like they paired Gigan and Ghidorah has more of like his 90s look, but Gigan keeps his Showa look. I thought that was cool. Ghidorah keeps his Showa look. Mothra, yeah, that's, I guess if I had one critique is that like they imply that Mothra is fighting off the monsters with Godzilla, but like that's not really.
It was like one or two panels,
right?
So
and then,
I
like Mothra comes and goes. Yeah. And I do like how they made different teams to kind of like study. Oh yeah, Megalon's in it too.
Yeah,
and they made like different teams to kind of like ultimately study each monster. And I guess I don't really know where that could have fit in here, but like I do almost kind of wish we got a little bit more with like those other teams. Not in the sense that like I need them to be like the main point of view, but like that was a cool idea that I feel like just kind of kind of discussed like an issue or so.
The only thing is though, it kind of follows around Oda a lot, though,
right?
So like
right.
It doesn't really make sense to go to another team and abandon.
Yeah,
Oda.
I think I would like to see him with one of those teams, maybe.
Gotcha.
Maybe fleshing Mothra out a little bit more or something, like building like, because it seems like you can kind of assume Godzilla pretty much kills most every monster that like he encounters in the story, except like Anguirus, who burrows away. But like, it's like, why isn't Mothra around? Like, what happens to Mothra in the fight with like it's very apparent that like Gigan and Ghidorah like destroy half the world.
Yeah.
So like, what was Mothra doing in that fight? So I think maybe, I guess.
Where's Mothra?
Why did you say that name? I can't believe he made that joke either. Ugh.
He's trying to kill Mothra.
It's almost December 1st. We're all gonna get sent the Godzilla Christmas tree thing that's been floating around for 20 years, sent to us ultimately.
Huh?
You've not seen this? The Godzilla Christmas tree meme?
Probably see it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh wow! And so it was like back around the time that like Godzilla 2000 came out, there is a like Godzilla Christmas tree, like based on the Millennium design, with like Christmas lights. And
I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Never
yeah,
mind.
yeah. It's like the joke always is that like as Christmas comes around, like, you know, all your friends and family who just know you like Godzilla are going to send you that picture going like, oh my God, isn't this wild? And, you know, it's just people just trying to be nice. But but it is like without fail, like, you know, like that has become a meme into itself of like people receiving that image. And like, and I was like, you know, I've gotten that a handful of times, but nobody does that anymore.
Gotcha.
And sure as shit, 2 people I work with last year sent me that, like, unironically.
I had no idea. Nobody's ever sent me that, so I didn't know idea that was a thing.
No,
So that's why I didn't know what you were talking about.
I guess you gotta talk louder about your.
I'm also
Godzilla
not
interest.
very hip. I'm 38. Like, I'm old and finished.
You're at the probably the Ghana stage of Half Century War, where it's like you're not totally done, but you're rounding the corner.
Oh yeah, I think I'm totally done.
Wait, he's kind of wiped in Ghana, right? So they're in
I have no Deverick either, so it's really like I have no wife, I have no kids. I definitely wasted my life.
Oh God, what a dark turn we've taken.
As I say with a kind of like laughing and giggling about it. Anyway, it's a PDF podcast.
This podcast is a Half Century War to itself.
More like a half century. Then,
Yeah,
so.
quarter century. Or third century.
Yeah.
So, we have no other comics to rank it to.
Except for Barkley versus
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Godzilla, which
Yeah.
this is way better.
Yes. Did we actually give that a star rating back then?
Probably. I can't imagine giving it more than a 2 or 3.
Yeah, I feel like I probably also would have given it a 2 or a 3 as well. I think, and if I gave it a 3, that's out of just the novelty of Godzilla going against Charles Barkley with fantastic artwork in itself, though.
Yeah.
Um,
Plus the commercial has a really cool Godzilla design.
yeah, Industrial Light and Magic.
But for this, I'm gonna rank it first. I'm going 5 all the way.
Yeah, this is without a doubt. This is a 5. This is all other comics that we do. This will always be the top tier comic that they will be compared to.
This
I
is
think
the
that's
standard.
safe. I think that's safe to say.
This is the bar.
For comics, this is the bar.
All right.
I mean, I can't even tell you if there's like even like a better comic out there for Godzilla than this. Like,
Sure.
besides maybe Godzilla.
I loved it. Reading it was not a chore at all. I'm not against more comics for this podcast, but this one overall very solid. I highly recommend it. Take a shot.
Yes. If you enjoy Godzilla stories, you gotta go out of your way to read this one.
Okay, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And I'm a Godzilla fan who never read it until this past week.
Broadening your horizons.
I am. I'm growing.
You're growing.
Maybe I'm not so finished. You get any figs?
A bunch.
You get any cheese?
No. Wait. Yes, I did.
All right.
I did actually get cheese.
Good
My
luck.
wife had a $5 coupon at Total Wine and bought Gouda cheese with it.
Yeah, there you go.
Overall, it was a little bit too strong of a Gouda taste. Wasn't I like Gouda cheese, but this is Boar's Head Gouda cheese is what we bought. So I'm going to say of the purchases I got this week, the Gouda cheese was probably the least appealing.
That's too bad.
It was. So I like Gouda cheese. Just didn't
I
really,
like the nice smoked Gouda.
just didn't really care for this Boar's Head
Wow.
Gouda cheese. So little too potent.
Gotcha.
A little too potent. Paired well with the kielbasa though that my wife got from a Polish butcher shop.
I got some jalapeno cheddar chicken sausages this week that are fucking phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about figures?
I will again end with the one that we both got. But I got a couple things this week. I got the Playmates Godzilla Ultima.
Sure did.
Turned up in our local Target. There was only one. Long awaited figure here. So now that I have it, what do I think of it compared to the Bandai one? I will say,
Because I like the Bandai one a lot.
I will say now what it does better than the Bandai one is that it paints like the red lines into the dorsal plates
Mm-hmm.
that Bandai could not be bothered to do.
Yeah.
Paints the whole tail. But I would say now it's a very good figure overall,
Mhm.
Especially for like $12, $13, whatever it is. But I would say the Bandai figure then wins on every other front.
Yeah.
The eyes are a little goofy.
I saw the teeth were kind of lazily painted like a.
Mine were okay.
Oh,
Mine
really?
were fine. Yeah.
I saw
Yeah,
a
yeah.
picture online. It looked like another one of those Space Godzilla type of.
Oh no.
paints.
The teeth are detailed and painted fine.
Okay.
No problem with my only problem, like the eyes were painted a little funny. It's just like it's like a little tiny like black dot that's kind of like just drooped in there.
Yeah.
But no, the teeth, mouth, like I have no other issues with the paint.
Cool.
Other than like the eye painting the eyes is a little lackluster.
This kind of gets me more excited for the figure then, because I saw a photo of it and I was like, I've already got the Bandai one.
Yeah, no, this is a good one. This is a good
Okay.
one, but I do ultimately think the Bandai one wins on detail,
Sure.
pose. And the Playmates one may win on dorsal plate and tail paint.
Okay.
Little like the claws aren't sharp. They're kind of like rounded. And I just wonder if like maybe that's
For
like
kids.
yeah, that's like kind of what I was
That's
wondering
a,
with that.
that's
Although
a
it's-
sling 'em monster ring
yeah,
change.
yeah. Although that's like not really consistent with any other Godzilla figure, so I don't know. But and of course it's like in a little bit of a walking pose
course
with
it is.
with the head
Head
tilt.
kind of tilted.
Yeah,
Of course.
head a
Just
little
like the other
tilted.
one.
So in a sense, like if you have both figures, you got one that's kind of straight ahead, and you got one that's kind of like in a little bit of an action pose. So like that's kind of cool. So I also have the Bandai Movie Monster exclusive figure that came with the first Blu-ray set.
Mhm.
That one is still tops. That's
Okay.
the one with the open mouth where he's about to like fire the beam.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, it's not even close. That's definitely going to always be tops. But
Okay.
this is pretty good. I think it's a very good figure. If you weren't able to get the Bandai one, this is a good replacement. If you like to have more Ultima figures in your life, like I would, I think this is just generally worth a pickup. Yeah, it's worth $12, $13.
Cool.
Um,
Yeah, that kind of changes how I think of it now. So that's good.
Yeah.
I'm still excited for the Ghidorah one. Like,
someday
yeah.
it's gonna just like appear one day. Like half these like
Just
figures
like
do.
the 54 big one.
Right, exactly. They're just gonna appear one day.
I'm just going to be at the good Target and I'm going to see two of them. That's how it always happens.
Yep, it's just these things, just like or like the transforming figures that like we thought were like never coming out, and they just appeared again one day.
Yep.
You know, the Playmate strategy is wild. It's always keeping you on your toes.
Yeah. But I figured for Christmas they'd probably want to have those figures hitting the shelves because right now all they have is like the same old that they've had all year. Like,
Oh, actually, at our Target, like interestingly, like the Final Wars Gaigan was there, like fresh shipments of Final Wars Gaigan, and there's another one. Maybe it's like-
Destroyer?
no, Space Godzilla might have been there.
Oh, okay.
But you know, it's funny. It's like, I feel like Gorosaurus is like kind of disappeared, but like Rodan keeps kind of
I've seen
getting
Rodan.
restocked.
Because I saw Gorosaurus a lot over the summer.
Yeah.
And so like I bought one for Dan's kid. Like this figure, you know, looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
Godzilla stuff.
But it was cool to see the Final Wars Gaigan back around. That's always been like one of their best figures. It's just
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just random. Like what kind of gets like restocked, like what doesn't.
But, you know, I was thinking or hoping rather that they would put the Ghidorah out for now because it's like it's Christmas time. You know,
Yeah.
people buy gifts. You want to have the newest and best figures on the shelves, and they really don't for the most part. It's been sort of what they've had all year.
I feel like it's not even just Godzilla. I feel like
Yeah, it's
Star
definitely not
Wars,
just them.
wrestling. It's like although
Well, wrestling kind of changes over every month to month. and a
yeah,
half.
wrestling is just like you're constantly getting bombarded with
You get a
with new
you get a few
stuff.
you get a few peg warmers here and there.
Yeah. But like on the Star Wars front, it's like it's been the same Black Series figures, Vintage Series figures, and I have sworn off collecting Black Series figures, although I did
You have
see
the bounty hunters.
I have the bounty hunters, and they said that's where I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to stop. Although there was like the Christmas Mandalorian Target exclusive figure I saw over the weekend. I did
I
not
saw
buy
that
it,
too.
but I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's tempting. But also like, I'm like, what am I going to do with that figure for like the rest of the year? I hate that out of season look. Just being there for the rest of the year. Put them away with the Christmas stuff every year.
Yeah, he's a
absurd.
Christmas decoration.
What was that?
He's a Christmas decoration.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
You put him in a stocking or something like that.
I could. I do like that, like the large blaster, whose actual name escapes me. It's like candy cane colored. So I don't know. Maybe we'll go back and get that at some point. It's so ridiculous.
But yeah, I'm still waiting on that. So
yeah,
whenever I see any of these figures, I'll update it. But if you ever see a Darth Vader Black Series, just let me know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's
that's kind of the only one I want.
There's actually I see that regularly at some of the targets around us.
I never see it at any Target, and I look.
So. All right, it's good to know because like the one that they released with in relation to the Obi-Wan series is out.
Okay, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, so all right, well that's good to know. We'll keep that in mind. So maybe the biggest surprise arrival for this episode, as I was just saying, off mic, was that the Godzilla and Gigan Rex Bandai Movie Monster series figures arrived, and they literally got to the Bayou warehouse on Monday. We are recording this on Wednesday, and they somehow got from Japan to me in the span of that time.
We hit the over, by the way.
We did. We were over 45 minutes. Like, wild. So, to no surprise, these figures are fantastic.
Did you bring them?
I did not bring them. I had to do a lot of work to put in my upstairs Godzilla display room. And I moved so much stuff around to get them. Once I got them there, I said, they're going to stay.
They're going to stay. Yeah. I understand.
It involved me being on a step stool. That was how much stuff I was moving around.
Wow.
But I'm running out of space. Space is a premium. So the Godzilla figure is super, super detailed.
Awesome.
So overall, fantastic looking figure. Couple of things I'll say are a little weird, like the hand pose that he's in. It's like they just got his hands like in a weird posture, and like
he's doing the Cactus Jack Bang Bang,
kinda almost, and like actually yeah, kind of, and like it's like the elbows are like his arms are so hard bent to the elbows that it's almost like if you move his hands up too much, he looks a little goofy. But other than that, detail's fantastic. When it comes to the paint, they pretty much painted the middle dorsal plate row and then just kind of decided not to for the outside rows.
Gotcha.
And like
that's disappointing.
And in true Bandai Movie Monster Series fashion, the tail is not fully painted, like with all the other figures. Like with the tail piece kind of connects. That's kind of where the paint stops.
Yep.
However, what's really weird about this one is that the part where the tail is kind of curled upwards a little bit in curls, like where the tail connects, is such a small piece that it's like you just randomly have an unpainted chunk of tail that is like very short, and it makes it even more jarring than when they just like kind of give up like once you get off the body. You know what I mean? Like, so, but I mean that's pretty typical for the Bandai Movie Monster series. But I mean overall though, again, the detail is fucking fantastic.
Okay.
I would say like I was like looking at this, like kind of comparing it to the Godzilla the Ride figure, and I think the Godzilla the Ride figure is the better painted figure, but like this design just translates so good. This gemstone Godzilla design translates so well that like it actually is like a very striking figure, even for like how little paint it has.
I wonder if they just used like the 3D model in the short for the figure.
Maybe. I don't know. It's I mean, they're like the skin is like so textured on it. It's very good looking. Gigan Rex is a lot smoother and a lot more has a fully painted tail. And Gigan Rex is just overall like a less detailed character, like by design. It was like sleeker. I like the Gigan Rex figure it's just tops. It's just like it looks like it's all I don't remember like how the fins and the short were painted off the top of my head, but overall like paint and everything is a little bit better with the Gigan Rex because again, I think he just kind of had a little bit more minimal paint going on. But that's another very eye-catching figure.
Yeah.
Very, very good. I feel like, it's always going to be the same paint issues with Bandai and the Movie Monster series, but can't fucking fault them for detail, I tell you. So, very eye-popping pieces when I put them in on my shelf. And I put a picture in our group chat, too, earlier today.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I must have missed it because
I
was very busy today.
The lighting was not the greatest, but I'll now that I have moved them to like their final resting spot, I can take a better picture
All right.
later with the lighting. But yeah, it's like I look at them like with like the Godzilla the Ride figures, and I go like, it was like, what an awesome like alternate universe run of figures here that's happening. I also have like my Singular Point Bandai movie monster series shelf, and look at that going like, yeah, these things are real. I can complain about the paint, but like, yeah, these are real bangers. I like these.
Cool.
So good stuff. Good on you, Bandai. I still have the Godzilla 84 figure that has not technically released yet, but that's also my pre-order queue.
All right.
Going to Bai, not Zen Market. So my first Bai experience, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
If you got it in a day from Japan, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, Zen Market, you use DHL, which I've always been very happy with DHL.
Yep.
You know, Bai, well, you get FedEx and stuff too. DHL is the best deal. But Bai with the, that UPS rocket shipping, fucking fantastic. I will say, Bai, that website, fucking terrible to navigate. Very difficult to navigate that website. You got to work on that Bai. Just saying. Maybe not make it so frustrating to get updates on when your stuff is actually has come in.
Yeah, you know, maybe they'll hire a someone who's trained with the graphical displays, and
so that's just
they can hire a Gauntlet Creative for that.
It's a good plug.
You can make them a
good plug.
You can make them a good website.
Yeah, just gotta have a little bit more intuitive pathways, the information that you want.
Yeah,
you know. But you know, that is what it is.
Yeah.
But we both got something.
Oh yeah, so I always make my rounds. I rank the targets around us. I think the one near us is kind of meh, but there's a few others further away that are really good. One has pretty much completely taken the place of the other as the best around, in my opinion. And so I went over there and nothing. I was looking for it. Yeah, just a couple of Rodans. So I was just like, nah, no worries. But then I went to another one, a smaller one, because I went and got Five Guys. So I went to the one near Five Guys while I was waiting for that. And lo and behold, just sitting on one of the pegs. Like I was looking at the WWE stuff. Nothing really caught my eye. There was a Stephanie McMahon, but I'll pass. I go to the Godzilla stuff, and there's a whole peg of 5 of them of the Godzilla poster of the Super 7 reaction figures.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh, all right, how about that?
And knowing which target that is too, like that's not a target that's like known to have a lot of Godzilla stuff.
No, it's a pretty small Godzilla section. It's just like an end cap, basically.
It's a great wrestling and Star Wars target.
Yes.
But a not very good Godzilla target.
It's also not a huge target. It's a smaller target.
Right.
But still usually good toy selection for wrestling, but not so much for Godzilla.
We're adults.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah. But this time they just had all 5 of them out there sitting on a peg, and I was just like, "You still looking for this?" And you're like, "Yep."
Yeah.
I'm getting 2.
I know this is well, you have the J-tail.
I have the
J-tail one.
I kept it in the package just because
Yep.
I really like that packaging.
Yep.
It's so white and like get the Japanese lettering on there. I think that's
Mine
really cool.
that so I have 2, one that's loose, one that's packaged. My one that's packaged unpunched.
Nice.
Mhm.
I think mine's unpunched too. That's why it's sitting on the
Oh
shelf.
yeah.
Yeah. But we got the reaction Godzilla poster figure, and
So I'm
Like,
a big reaction guy. Give me your reaction to the reaction.
yeah. So like I rag on them for the prices because that's really the only complaint I really have.
Mhm.
Like I keep these next to like the 5 and up.
Oh, the 5 below. 5
5
below.
below. Yeah,
5 and up.
Yeah.
5 guys. 5 and up. 5 below.
It's too many 5s. I can't keep track of it. And I'm looking next to them. Like, is this really $12 more expensive than these figures? Does it warrant this? And while I do think they're better by like a substantial way, I'm still not sold on the price point. I think they're gouging me.
Price point aside, what do you think of the figure?
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, I love the retro style to it.
It's very simple. It's simple and elegant.
Yes.
The tail swivels, the legs swivel, the arm swivel, the head swivels. That's 6 points of articulation. That's not 5.
That is.
So they've got you beat Mezco.
So after you left my house on Saturday, I temporarily had that figure going one-on-one with my Super 7 Jason Tatum reaction figure. Which is
Is this the same size as that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're about the same size.
Okay. Because my Power Rangers figures are way bigger. Like the
like the Megazord?
The Megazord and Dragonzord I have.
Oh, yeah.
They're like 2 inches bigger.
Oh, yeah, they are. Look at that. I get the sense that the King Ghidorah from the next wave that's coming out looks like it's probably going to be more like along the lines of the Power Rangers ones.
Awesome. I'll definitely get that.
Yeah, I can't. That next wave is Heater is in it, Gigan's in it, King Ghidorah's in it, Godzilla 62's in it, and then it's Mechagodzilla half transformed from Godzilla. Like,
it looks really cool. I will say this though, being at your house and seeing the Mothra Super 7 figure.
The glow in the dark ones.
I was looking for that. Just the one that was sitting on the egg. I was like, actually, that's actually pretty cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's same packaging. Oh, you looking for the regular Mothra or like
just the regular one? Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. That one's usually at the one where I found the
I went to a few of them. I couldn't find them.
Yeah, Newbury Comics also. Well, Newbury Comics also kind of jacks the price up a little bit more. So, but you can also order them from their website.
All right.
Yeah, I got the glow in the dark ones off their website.
Cool.
The Mothra one is probably one of the best from the whole first wave's awesome. I love the whole thing. So I like now that I have the whole first wave in glow in the dark form.
But like overall, these are good figures. They're painted well. There's shading. They're like the fins are all orange. Skin's all green. Teeth are all white and nicely painted. They put effort into this. I will say that.
Purple, you mean, not orange.
What's that?
Purple, not orange.
The fins?
Yeah.
You are colorblind, my friend.
Can I see it? It's pretty purple to me.
That is orange.
Oh my god, are we having like a gold dress, blue dress moment here?
You are colorblind. That is orange. That is Woburn orange.
No, it's not.
It is.
You're fucking with me right
Put
now.
it next to my guitar. That is orange.
Oh yeah, actually yours. Now that I shine a light at yours, are orange. Mine are like more purple. Huh?
Maybe I got a weird one.
Maybe. No, yeah, no. I retracted. And actually, I was a little nervous. I was colorblind there. No, those are orange. Because mine are like kind of more purplish. So, whew.
Take a picture of it. Send it over to me. I'm curious now.
Maybe I just haven't shined. Like when I don't have it like under light like that. Like from here now, again, it looks purple to me.
It does not purple to me at all.
Huh?
Interesting.
Yeah. Also,
we may have just found something out about you.
Maybe. This is funny because like when like my wife and I got our house painted a few years back, and like I don't remember exactly how it went, but like with the old color, but like yeah, like one of us would describe the house as like being blue, and the other would describe it as kind of being green, and like some people would just be like, yeah, no, like dude, like you're like way off, like on not the color that it is now, the color it used to be.
I'm trying to think back. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and it's like, and people are like, yeah, like you're way off on it. And it's like there's a couple of like little things that have come up that I go like, I might actually have like some like sort of color blindness going on.
I'm sorry for laughing.
I mean, I don't care. We've got their life just fine.
Yeah,
but it's like I was like, am I? We also have a former friend of yours has the color blindness where they can't see purple, and I just said, so what does the Joker look like to you? And he's just like blue. Like wow, going through life with a blue Joker. Huh. But anyway, I forgot what we were talking about before that.
But we were just talking about the Super 7 figure. Very well put together. I just hate the price point. I love their figure line though. I'll say that. Like I think the reaction line is great because it's so like
they capture the Kenner style.
Musicians, TV shows, monsters, like anything you could think of, they can make a figure of it and make it well. Overall, solid figure.
I've learned to live
Very
at the price
positive.
point. They have me like a sucker. Every time a new wave, like as soon as that new wave goes up for pre-ordering the whole set.
I understand, and that's sort of like
They'll get me on their glow in the dark variants.
Yeah, like, not me, thankfully, but like with NECA, like I definitely got accustomed to paying like between 20 and $25 per figure and just accepting that as life. In
Oh,
reality.
wait. Did I talk about the Crunchyroll bag clip exclusive?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Talk about it. I
I
know you posted about it.
Yeah. So I got another thing. Crunchyroll, who apparently is fucking does more than streaming anime services, apparently, got an exclusive Godzilla monogram bag clip set, which like two of the figures are well, all three of the figures were already out. It's Mecha Godzilla, GMK Godzilla, and the Godzilla Tower, which are all from the recent wave, but it's a glow in the dark exclusive GMK figure, and I was like, I just gotta fucking have that.
Yep.
And so I essentially paid a premium to buy. Well, I essentially bought 3 figures to get that one glow in the dark figure, and it was fucking worth every penny.
Yeah.
Oh god. I am the ultimate monogram Godzilla bag clip hunter.
You are the Michael Jordan of monogram Godzilla bag clip collections.
Every time I take an updated picture, I always tag monogram in it. And I go, yeah, but I'm still just missing just one from that very first wave.
And they never even reached out to you.
No.
They don't care.
I'm going to keep tagging them.
They
I'm
don't
going to
care.
keep You can't tell me you don't have one floating around that office that you'll sell me.
They could just make more.
They could. I just can't believe the one that I'm missing has not gone up on eBay, Mercari. I check Yahoo auctions in Japan and America. It has Whatnot. Whatnot sucks, and I check Whatnot all the time. Like, and I can't. It still has not come up. Last one came up for auction was almost 2 years ago. Insane to me. I look at that space that I have reserved for it all the time.
It's like a hole in your heart.
It is.
And not the one you got from eating batteries.
Not the one I got batteries now.
So you laughed. You'd like 30 Rock.
So I guess now that wraps up all my purchases. So,
Cool. Well, good luck to you. I have no idea what that monogram bag clip even looks like that you need. But
it's Godzilla with like some like weird blue, I don't know, lightning bolts or some shit going across him.
okay.
Doesn't really,
Like your old guitar strap.
kind of actually, yeah.
But I don't got much else. You got anything else?
No, is our next episode Con Christmas or is it the episode after that?
Well, this episode is coming out early December, so our next episode is coming out in mid-December, so that would have to be our Con Christmas episode.
Okay, so next episode will be Con Christmas. Do we decide right here what we do?
Let's talk about it.
Talk about it.
What are you thinking?
I feel like in our past discussions, we were either bouncing between King Kong Lives or Son of Kong.
See, Son of Kong's really good, but I kind of feel like
I don't know about that. It's not bad. I also don't think it's... My memory is that it's not good. It's a cash grab movie.
Okay.
It literally came out in the same calendar year as the original Kong.
Maybe I'm thinking of Mighty Joe Young then. Sorry. Okay, no, you're right, because this came out like a year, like not even a year later. You're right. I was wrong. So keeping within the vein of making sure we watch like a Kong movie we're not particularly crazy about, like it should be bad. Like we shouldn't watch like Skull Island. We shouldn't.
Oh yeah, sure.
We shouldn't watch the original.
Sure.
We should watch any of the others.
Yeah. Well, we haven't done those two movies.
Yeah.
I don't think either one are. I mean, I haven't seen Son of Kong in like probably 20 years.
Yeah.
But I've only seen bits of King Kong Lives. I don't think I've seen the whole movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, so I don't think either one's gonna be good.
No. I
But
think I know which one would be a lot worse though.
Yeah, King Kong Lives, I think is gonna be a lot worse. But Son of Kong, yeah, I mean, no. What did we? All right, so last year we did Kong 76.
Let's sequel it.
You want to? All right. Son of Kong. I guess we'll see you next year.
Yeah. So we've got the next two Kong Christmases planned out right here. And
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and then we'll have. I think we'll do another. We'll probably do another topical episode after that, and then we will be talking. not topical. We'll do another topic-centric episode maybe after that. But then we'll be topical because
Like cream.
Because Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman is going to be released in January 11th in the US. And so we will have that.
Okay. I'm down for that.
Yeah. Content all squared away for the next several weeks. Fantastic.
Cool. Awesome. So, well, with that out of the way, anything you'd like to leave the listener with?
No, not at all.
To the west, turn your gaze. Never look away.